What I've learned from making the interview is that it's very important that you have good lighting and a good setup, so everything is easy to see.
I've learned that the sound has to be very clear because, and it's always good if you make a backup sound.
That you make sure there's no background noise and that there's good lighting.
That you really need a good order for the questions.
That the lighting has to be very good.
I learned that it's very handy to set up a question list before the interview. It's also smart to ask further if something isn't clear.
I used the standard question list for my interview, but when I made the interview, I did notice that I went very quick through all the questions. So I did ask through, and eventually I was very happy because I got more detail.
I asked some new questions because I would like to know more about the details.
Both, because I already made a list of questions, but I thought of new ones in the interview.
During the interview I made some new questions so that you really knew the details.
At the beginning of the interview I asked the standard questions, but later I got into the subject more.
Well, I asked all the questions of my question list, and I also asked through. Because of that, the story became a little bit clearer.
The recording went very well. At first it was very difficult to find a good camera, but eventually we could use a good camera, and it took us a while to find the right spot to film, but eventually it went really well.
I thought it went really well because the sound was good and the view also, so I think it went really well.
I thought it went very well. It cost a little bit to find a perfect angle, but that doesn't matter.
It took some time to find a good spot for the camera, but eventually all went good.
The recording went well, but the lighting could be better.
It went very well. I recorded the audio as a backup just to be sure.
I used iMovie for it, which I'm very happy with, and I did watch a few YouTube videos, so I did know how other people did it, especially with the subtitles, because that was quite difficult for me at first, but eventually I did know how to do it and it went quite quick.
I edited the video with Windows Movie Maker. I made the subtitles via YouTube.
I used Windows Movie Maker.
I used Pinnacle.
I used Windows Movie Maker.
I edited the interview with the program Shotcut. I also subtitled the interview with that program.